The children have scales.
The village elder's hand trembled as he pointed at the newborn twins lying on the mat. Scales, he whispered. The children have scales. Kwame's wife, Ama, clutched the babies tighter to her chest, her eyes wild with fear. Around them, the women who had helped with the bath backed away, making protective signs with their hands. What kind of mother are you? Kwame's own mother hissed. What curse have you brought upon our family? But Ama said nothing. She only looked toward the ocean, visible through the hut doorway, where the waves crashed against the shore with unusual violence. And in that moment, everyone in the room wondered the same thing. What secret was this woman hiding? 6 years earlier, Kwame was the best fisherman in the coastal village of Anomabo. Every morning before dawn, he would push his wooden canoe into the waters of the Atlantic, singing the old songs his father had taught him. While other fishermen returned with half-empty nets, Kwame's boat always groaned under the weight of his catch. That boy has been blessed by the ancestors, the village elders would say, nodding approvingly. But Kwame didn't feel blessed. He felt lonely. At 30 years old, he had built a good house with a thatched roof and wooden walls. He had respect in the village. He had everything except the one thing that mattered to him most, a wife. You are too particular, his friend Kojo teased him one evening as they mended their nets. Efua, the trader's daughter, likes you. Abena from the next village asks about you, but you show no interest. Kwame shrugged. I am waiting for someone special. Someone different. Different? Kojo laughed. Brother, you will be waiting forever. But Kwame couldn't explain the feeling in his heart. Every time he was out on the ocean, surrounded by nothing but water and sky, he felt like he was searching for something. Someone. It happened on a night when the full moon painted the ocean silver. Kwame had stayed out later than usual, following a school of fish that kept slipping through his nets. The other fishermen had already returned to shore, but Kwame was stubborn. One more cast, he told himself. Just one more. That's when he heard it. Singing. The voice was unlike anything he had ever heard. It seemed to come from the water itself, beautiful and haunting, making his heart ache with longing. Kwame leaned over the side of his canoe, peering into the dark water. The singing grew louder, and then he saw her. A woman's face broke through the surface of the water, illuminated by moonlight. But this was no ordinary woman. Her skin had a faint, pearlescent shimmer, and her long, dark hair floated around her like seaweed. Most striking of all were her eyes, deep blue like the ocean itself, with flecks of gold that caught the light. "Hello, fisherman," she said, her voice like music. Kwame should have been terrified, should have paddled away as fast as he could. The village elders had told stories of water spirits who lured men to their deaths. But he couldn't move. He was transfixed. "Who are you?" he managed to ask. "My name is Ama. I've been watching you. You are different from the other fishermen. You sing to the ocean. You thank the water for its gifts. You never take more than you need." Night after night, Kwame returned to that spot. Night after night, Ama appeared. They would talk for hours about the ocean, about the village, about life and dreams and everything in between. "Why do you live in the water?" Kwame asked one night. Ama's expression turned sad. "It's where I belong. It's where my people have always been." "Your people?" She dove under the water then, and when she emerged, Kwame gasped. In the moonlight, he could see them clearly. Tiny iridescent scales covering her arms and the sides of her neck, disappearing beneath the surface. "I am of the ocean, Kwame, not of the land." But Kwame had already fallen in love with her. And to his amazement, she loved him too. "There is a way," Ama said quietly one night, 2 months later. "An old magic. I can take human form and live on land, but there are rules. Sacred rules that can never be broken." "Tell me," Kwame said eagerly. "I can never go back into the ocean, not even to touch the waves. If salt water touches my skin again, I will return to my true form. And there's something else." She hesitated. "Any children we have, they may carry marks of what I am." "I don't care," Kwame said firmly. "I want to marry you." The village was shocked when Kwame announced his engagement to a woman no one had ever seen before. "Where is she from?" his mother demanded. "A village far up the coast." Kwame lied, the words bitter on his tongue. "Her family died in a fishing accident. She has no one." It was Ama's beauty that finally won them over. When she walked through the village for the first time, dressed in traditional kente cloth, everyone stared. She moved with an otherworldly grace, and her unusual blue eyes captivated everyone who met her. The wedding was held in the village square, with drumming and dancing that lasted till dawn. Ama smiled and greeted everyone warmly, but Kwame noticed how she never walked too close to the shore, how she flinched when the ocean breeze carried spray from the waves. For 5 years, they were happy. Ama became beloved in the village. She helped the other women with their weaving, learned to cook traditional dishes, and told stories to the children. Only Kwame knew that on quiet nights, she would stand at their doorway, staring out at the distant ocean with longing in her eyes. "Do you regret it?" he asked her once. "Giving up the water for me?" She missed it sometimes. The freedom, the weightlessness, the songs of my people. "But I love you more than I miss any of that." They were blessed with work and respect. But year after year passed, with no children, and the village elders began to whisper, "Perhaps she is barren," Kwame's mother said, unable to hide her disappointment. But then, in the 6th year of their marriage, Ama's belly began to swell. The labor was long and difficult. Kwame paced outside their hut while the village midwives attended to his wife. Inside, he could hear Ama's cries of pain, and each one felt like a knife to his heart. Please, he prayed to the ancestors, please let her be safe. Finally, just as the sun broke over the horizon, he heard it, the cry of a baby, then another cry. Twins! Kwame rushed inside, his face breaking into a smile, but the smile died when he saw the expressions of the women in the room. His mother stood frozen, her hand over her mouth. The midwife backed away from the babies, her eyes wide with fear, and the village elder who had been called to bless the birds stood pointing, his fingers shaking. "Scales," he whispered. "The children have scales." Kwame pushed forward and looked down at his newborn son and daughter. They were beautiful, perfect, but along their tiny arms and the sides of their necks were patches of iridescent scales that caught the morning light. "What is this?" his mother demanded, turning to Ama. "What are you?" Ama held her babies close, tears streaming down her face. "They are your grandchildren. They are innocent. Please, you have cursed our family," Kwame's mother shrieked. "You've brought shame upon us all." Within hours, the entire village knew. People gathered outside Kwame's house, some curious, some angry, all demanding answers. "She must be a witch," someone shouted. "She's cursed. The children should be cast out before they bring evil upon us all." Kwame stood at his doorway, facing the crowd. "These are my children, my wife. If you want to cast them out, you'll have to go through me first." But even as he said it, he turned to look at Ama, and the question was in his eyes. "What are you?" That night, after the village had reluctantly dispersed, Kwame sat with Ama in their hut. The twins slept peacefully in a woven basket between them, unaware of the chaos their arrival had caused. "Tell me the truth," Kwame said quietly. "All of it." So Ama told him about her people who lived in the deep places of the ocean, about the ancient magic that allowed them to take human form but never truly become human, about the risk she'd taken, knowing their children might bear the mark of her heritage. "I should have told you," she said, fresh tears falling. "But I was afraid you wouldn't marry me, afraid I'd lose the only love I'd ever known." Kwame looked at his sleeping children, at their tiny scales that shimmered even in the dim firelight. Then he looked at his wife and saw the fear and love warring in her strange, beautiful eyes. "I love you," he said finally, "and I love our children, but the village will never accept them, never accept us. We can't stay here." "Where can we go?" Amma whispered. "I don't know, but we'll figure it out together." For 3 days, Kwame tried to find a solution. He spoke with the village elders, begging them to accept his family. He offered to leave if they would at least provide supplies for the journey. But the elders were afraid, and fear made them cruel. "The children are abominations," they declared. "If you will not cast them out, then your entire family must leave. You have 1 week." On the 4th day, a terrible storm rolled in from the ocean. The sky turned black in the middle of the afternoon. Lightning split the heavens and thunder shook the earth. Rain fell in sheets so thick you couldn't see 3 feet ahead. And the waves grew monstrous, threatening to swallow the entire village. The fishermen pulled their canoes far up the beach, but it wasn't enough. The ocean kept rising, higher than anyone had ever seen it. Water began flooding into the village itself, washing through homes and sweeping away belongings. "It is the curse!" someone screamed. "The cursed children have brought the ocean's wrath upon us." A mob formed, even in the midst of the storm. They marched toward Kwame's house with torches that sputtered in the rain, their faces twisted with fear and anger. "Give us the children," they shouted. "We'll cast them into the sea. It's the only way to appease the ocean spirits." Kwame stood at his door, a fishing spear in his hands. "You'll have to kill me first." But there were dozens of them, and only one of him. They pushed forward, and Kwame knew he couldn't hold them back much longer. Then Amma stepped out of the house. She held a twin in each arm, her face serene despite the chaos around her. She walked past Kwame, straight toward the angry mob, and they fell back, something in her bearing commanding their attention. "You want to end the storm?" she called out over the howling wind. "You want to save your village?" "Yes," the alleged elder shouted back. "Return what you stole from the ocean. Give back what doesn't belong on land." Amma nodded slowly. Then she turned and walked toward the beach. "No!" Kwame lunged after her, but strong hands held him back. He struggled, screaming her name, as his wife carried his children toward the raging sea. Amma reached the water's edge, where the waves crashed against the sand with terrible force. She stood there for a moment, her back to the village, holding her babies close. Then she whispered something to each of them, kissed their tiny foreheads, and turned back. She handed the twins to the nearest woman, who took them in shock. "Keep them safe. Love them. They are innocent of any wrongdoing. They deserve to live and be happy." Then, before anyone could stop her, she walked into the ocean. The moment the salt water touched her skin, the transformation began. Amma's legs seemed to merge together, her human form rippling like water itself. Scales erupted across her skin, shimmering with all the colors of the deep. Her hair became like flowing seaweed, and her eyes glowed with an otherworldly blue light. She dove beneath a wave, and when she emerged, she was no longer the woman the village had known. She was fully herself again, a creature of the ocean, beautiful and terrible and free. The storm immediately began to calm. The wind died down, the lightning ceased, the waves, though still large, began to retreat from the village. Within minutes, the black clouds started to break apart, letting through shafts of golden sunlight. Amma surfaced one last time, floating in the now gentler waves. She looked at Kwame standing on the shore, his face streaked with rain and tears. "I love you," her voice carried over the water, beautiful as song.
I always will. Take care of our children. Tell them their mother loved them more than the ocean itself. Don't go, Kwame shouted, trying to wade into the water, but Hans held him back. Please, we can find another way. There is no other way, Amma said sadly. I broke the sacred law. I put myself before my people and the balance of nature. This is the price I must pay. She looked at her babies, still crying in the arms of the shocked villager. The scales will fade as they grow. They'll be able to live normal lives on land, but they'll always feel the pull of the ocean. They'll always know they come from two worlds. Then she dove beneath the waves and was gone.
Kwame fell to his knees in the wet sand, sobbing. He stayed there long after the villagers had gone, long after the storm had completely passed, staring out at the ocean that had taken his wife back.
The village never spoke of what happened that day. It became an unspoken agreement, the truth too strange, too frightening to acknowledge openly. Kwame raised his children with fierce love and protection. Just as Amma had predicted, their skills faded as they grew, until only faint shimmer remained along their arms and necks, easy to mistake for a trick of the light. He named his son Kofi and his daughter Akosua, and he told them stories every night about their mother, about her beauty and courage and sacrifice, about the ocean from which she came and the love that had bridged two worlds. The twins grew strong and healthy. They had their father's determination and their mother's grace. And they had one other gift. They could swim like no other children in the village. They could hold their breath for impossible lengths of time. They could sense storms coming days before they arrived. When they were old enough, Kwame told them the full truth. He said, "You are special. You carry the ocean in your blood. Never be ashamed of what you are." Every year, on the anniversary of the storm, Kwame would take his children to the beach at sunset. They would stand at the water's edge and sing the old songs. And sometimes, if you listened carefully, you could hear another voice joining theirs from somewhere beneath the waves. A voice like music, a voice like love. Kwame never remarried. He grew old with grace, his children growing into fine adults who had children of their own. Some of those grandchildren bore the faintest shimmer on their skin. Some could swim with unnatural skill. Some felt an unexplainable pull toward the ocean. On the day Kwame died, he was an old man surrounded by family. His last words were a request. "Take me to the sea." They carried him to the beach he had loved all his life. As his children held his hands and grandchildren gathered around, Kwame looked out at the sunset-painted water and smiled. A figure emerged from the waves. Only Kwame could see her clearly. Amma, exactly as she had been the day they met, beautiful and eternal. She walked across the water toward him, her hand extended. "Ready to go home?" she asked, her voice like music. Kwame closed his eyes and took his last breath with a smile on his face. Those gathered swore that for just a moment they heard singing from the ocean. A chorus of voices, ancient and beautiful, welcoming one of their own home. This story teaches us that love requires sacrifice, but true love never truly dies. It reminds us that being different is not a curse, but a unique blessing. We should never judge others based on their appearance or heritage, for we all carry secret histories and hidden depths. Most importantly, this story shows us that some bridges between different worlds can be built through courage, acceptance, and love. The children of two worlds may face challenges, but they also carry gifts that neither world alone could provide. In our modern lives, we often encounter people who seem different from us, different cultures, backgrounds, or beliefs. This story reminds us to look beyond the surface, to embrace,
rather than fear what we don't understand, and to recognize that love and acceptance can create harmony even in the most unlikely circumstances. The ocean and the land may be separate realms, but at the shore, they meet and create something beautiful. So too can different peoples, different worlds, and different hearts find common ground when they choose love over fear. Thank you so much for watching this story, my beautiful people. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps me bring you amazing stories. And if you're new here, welcome to the family. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. Now I want to hear from you. What did you think of Amma's sacrifice? Would you have made the same choice? Do you believe love can truly bridge two different worlds? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your perspectives. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being part of this journey. I'll see you in the next story. Until then, stay blessed. Bye.